So, we circled up, and I spoke with the club and with the players in particular. And it's kind of interesting how back in March, before obviously we had the rookies, but we got everybody together and said, hey, this is what we're doing. And because at that point they had no idea what we were doing. They didn't know whether we were going to be here or there or wherever. And I just complimented them on, number one, their participation, attendance, and commitment, because it was best since we've been here. We had a couple of minor little issues here and there, and you guys are familiar with that. But by and large, everybody relocated out here and they committed to this off-season program, and they did an amazing job. So it's just one more step. We're finished now. The next step, as they know, is off time. As is the case with 31 other teams that are going to be out there for 4 or 5 weeks or however long that is. And so their responsibility now is to take care of themselves, continue to train, and get ready for training camp. And we're going to bring our rookies in a few days earlier than the vets will come in, and we'll hit the ground running at camp. I'm pleased with the progress with respect to some of the injured players. Don't think there'll be anybody that's going to be unable to participate in camp, which is good. Pleased with the progress of our young quarterback. I think he's done a nice job here over the last week or so. We've moved him up, and we've gotten some reps with the first team, as we talked about, and I think he's flourished in that environment. So he's got a lot of work to do over the summer. I'm sure the guys on their own will be getting together and throwing the ball around a little bit, and so we feel like we're in a good spot. But again, considering everything that we've gone through, I feel like we accomplished a great deal through the OTAs.
Coach, I know you like to have a lot of work, but I know you also like to have a lot of fun as well, to kind of give the guys a break. Like at the end of practice today, having the linemen trying to catch up punts and things like that. And I'm wondering where that idea came from, and how do you see that loosening up your
Well, our philosophy, the organizational philosophy, is such that when they park in the parking lot, we want them to come in the building because they're looking forward to coming to work, because it's fun. It should be fun. It's a game. But they're also, most of the time, you got to work. You got to focus. You got to work. But it's always good to have light moments like that, and been doing that for years. It's been a while since the offense has won, so they struggle with the punts. But we do a lot of fun things that kind of go unnoticed, but this is kind of a tradition that we have at the end of OTAs. So.
Can you give us any kind of an update on Tremaine Johnson?
Yes, Tremaine, if we were in a practice tomorrow, you'd practice tomorrow. That gives you a sense. So he'll be fine. He's running, he's training, he's just struggling with a little, getting the helmet on right now, because he had it's kind of the collision was a free collision, and he had a laceration, and he had his jaw got rocked a little bit, and so, but he'll be fine. So.
Coach, what pleased you the most about this session, and conversely, what disappointed you the most?
Nothing disappointed me whatsoever. I was pleased, again, as I said, with their commitment, their participation, the attendance, the timeliness of their attendance. It's an adjustment, as you all know. Most of the guys are no longer living here, and they're commuting, and everybody's on time, and so they're getting used to that, which is a challenge for them, compared to where we came from.
What do you think was the biggest area of growth for Jared?
Biggest
area of growth from the start of really rookie camp and through now?
Well, it's intellectually, it's learning the system. I mean, he's got all the physical tools, makes all the throws and does all that. It's just learning the system and then applying it to what we would call a fairly sophisticated defensive system. That's hard, if you just line up and play two coverages and, things come along quicker, but that's not our nature. And so, we may adjust a little bit during camp, but I thought that was, the biggest thing as far as he was concerned, is just that, he started figuring some of the stuff out we were doing defensively, and that's hard to do.
You said at his introductory press conference, that you wouldn't rule out the possibility that he could be starting the opener. From what, based
Right.
on what you saw during OTAs, do you think he's still on track to possibly do that?
You know, I'm not. You know, I also said that we'll start him when he's ready, and so I didn't say that to imply that he was going to start the opener. I said we have options. He could start anywhere from the opener, you know, to whenever. So I mean, and we haven't changed our philosophy on that. We're gonna coach him to be successful, and not going to put him in with a chance to fail. That's the most important thing in developing a young quarterback.
When it comes to training camp for him, is the thought to, again, bring him along slowly through that, or is there any thought to giving him those first team reps right off the bat, or have you thought about
No, we're gonna change up with the reps. You know, Case is our starter right now, so Case needs first team reps. You know, and to give Jared an opportunity, and Sean for that matter, to run with the first team, it's easier to evaluate them. So we'll change things up, and then again we'll, you know, once we get in there, and we'll make some decisions as to, you know, who plays when and how much in the preseason.
Jeff, what do you remember about the early days of William Hayes? You talked about how raw he was. What do you remember about that and how this progression to becoming the player?
Well, he was very quiet, and he walked in and he needed to learn the game. Needed to learn how to bring his hands with his feet, and needed to understand the position's very, very technical, and it took him a while. Once he started to get it, along came his personality, and he's got quite the personality. And I remember there were days, now I never paid him, but I offered to pay him $10 a period to shut up, because he couldn't shut up. You know, he was just talking all the time. So he now knows what this means, and he refocuses. But he's been great for us. You know, he's a leader. He works. He's there all the time, and on Sundays he shows up.
That Seahawks game where he was so spectacular last year. I know he had a lot of good games. That's the one thing you can point to. How did that kind of evolve?
Well, I mean, he just, you know, he was splitting time with Chris, and they were fresh. And when you get a fresh guy out there that knows what to do, and then you add the skill set to it, they're going to be productive.
Coach, what have you seen out of Pharaoh Cooper that has maybe impressed you throughout this process?
Coop's really, he's got a good feel for, you know, the inside stuff. He's got really strong hands, and he can run after catch. And in addition to that, he's really picked up the offense well. So I would expect that he would be a household name, you know, at some point, because he's a good player.
Did you get out of Oxnard what you wanted? Was it what you expected?
It was much better than what we expected. You know, everybody here that's associated with this football team, you know, when we're talking about the food preparation and the housekeeping and the security, everything was outstanding, and you know, you can't appreciate that anymore. I thought they did a great job. As far as football is concerned, yeah, weather's perfect, attendance was great, and you know, it was a great experience for us. Okay.
Thanks, Coach.
Last one. Alec Ogletree's transition to the middle of the defense. How is that going?
It's been flawless. He has a really good understanding of the defense. Has the skill set to play the position, as we all know. Making all the adjustments, all the checks, everything. He's not had any issues at all. So, and he's put the time in too. It's different. I mean, he's come a long way since his rookie year, and he understands how important it is to put the time in, and he has.